Hey everyone, I am back with another patch notes video. Today is November 16th of Thursday. With this is patch 0.326. And I'm just gonna get right into it. I've been busy working on other videos for you guys, but I saw this and I was like, let me go ahead and hop on this. So here we are. It says here, greeting lamp bearers, we're delighted to share with you the next big optimization update, which also marks the start of our ongoing PvP and PvE balancing split, as well as much requested improvements to the lock-on system and boss difficulty increases. This week's highlight include, we successfully completed a custom engine improvement to allow us to use nanite for all Umbral meshes, which should mean a noticeable improvement on performance while in Umbral, for the brave few who hang around long enough to notice. This is in addition to our usual overall performance improvement in several areas of the game, specified below in the notes. New lock-on systems activated. We've been extensively testing different options and believe the simpler approach of locking on to the center of the screen is the most effective one. So we've made this new default setting, though you still have the ability to switch to the other lock-on options in the setting, including Legacy, the previous default. I'm very interested to see what the new lock-on is like, since, you know, that's probably one of my biggest gripes among a few others about in this game. So I'll have to, you know, download it, boot up the game again and give it a go. The first step of our PvP and PvE balancing split is here, with much more to come in the near future. We can now start independently balancing spell, so today's updates focus on the most overpowered spell and range abilities. Based on feedback and internal telemetry for PvP only, this has zero impact on PvE. Thank goodness. So for all you PvP players that, or when you run into an invader and you get tired of being one-shotted and stuff by them, those overpower spelled, hopefully now this will make things a little bit more fair for those of you guys that are more so heavy on that after you beat the game or whatever. For me, I'm just, you know, a casual, a filthy PvE casual. So by popular demand, we finalized a complete overhaul to all bosses in the game. It was clear both from your feedback and our internal findings that many bosses simply weren't posing enough of a challenge, so we have rebalanced some behaviors, as well as their hit points, damage outputs, to ensure they pose the correct level of difficulty at that point in your journey. Please find further details below. Boss getting more buff, so I'm very curious to see, and am I gonna start struggling a little more now? We've integrated the latest version of DLSS3, meaning you can now manually activate the most recent frame generation update by using a special command. Once we confirm through Sentry that this new frame generation is stable, we'll activate it for everyone with 40 series by default. So this is more so about for PC users, as these patch notes always are, PC first, and then they roll out later on console, just because of how things work with, you know, certification and quality assurance not to brick console users. But anyways, furthermore, in collaboration with NVIDIA and AMD, we activated additional data for Sentry reports. I'm going to skip that since, you know, you guys are here for just the general patch notes that is already going to be applied for everybody, not just PC users. It says, as previously mentioned, we continue to work hard on all the free content we reviewed in the last week's content roadmap, and can exclusively review that you won't have to wait long until the first content drop. Now, if you guys are curious what that content roadmap looks like, I have a video on my channel as well. Feel free to check it out. It will be below in the description box, as well at the end of this video. But also be sure to drop a like on this video as well. It'll keep me motivated to continue putting out these patch notes videos for you guys, and leave a comment as well letting me know, what do you think of the patch after reading through it? What are your thoughts on the lock-on, as well as the bosses getting a huge buff, and the PvE and PvP? Okay, for lock-on overhaul, but it says here in the settings, you can now select your preferred lock-on priority system. Precision prioritize enemies that are closer to the center of your screen with a specified maximum limit. Enemies on the borders are ignored. Dynamic prioritizes enemies that are closer to the center of the screen without limits, and this is the default option. Proximity prioritizes enemies that are nearest to the player. Legacy represents the original lock-on system from the game's launch. I can tell you guys, I'm definitely going to try the other options, and I'm more than likely not going back to Legacy. That lock-on is awful. Now, for endings, we have, for those players who got blocked at the Umbral ending, unable to finish the game, we have great news. Now when you load the character that should have received the ending, you will see the credits directly, receive the proper achievements, the proper rewards, and then get prompt to move to New Game +1 or New Game +0, or stay in the current world. This will also fix a potential, though not reported, issue with the Rogar ending should it ever occur. Thanks to players sharing their save, this has greatly helped us find the issue and the safe way to fix it. So for all you guys that had issues with that, I remember seeing definitely quite a few in the comments section. This is great news for you guys, as well as when I get there, I don't have to deal with that at all. So that's good news for everybody. Now here we have more stability fixes, and this seems like I'm just skimming real quick. Looks like this is really concentrated for PC, so you can pause and read here for PC users, but I'm going to be moving on now to performance. So for this, we made an engine improvement to allow us to use nanite for Umbral meshes. This should result in noticeable performance improvement while in Umbral. For those who are curious, Umbral meshes require a complex shader that uses alpha masses, camera occultation, animation support, vertex animated option, pixel depth offset, and world position offset. None of these were supported by nanite meshes before. Now, once the full transition to Umbral is complete, we can take advantage of the nanite technology by selectively swapping meshes depending on their shader need. So that is great. Hopefully, I think this should definitely affect all platforms in general once this patch goes live for console users as well. And then I'm just going to go ahead and skip through all of this instead of reading it. If you guys are curious, again, you can always pause the video and read, because I'm trying to get to the meat and potato of things. Now for bosses, we have all non-main bosses have received a health boost ranging from 10 to 20% depending on the player's game progression. Less of a boost at the start of the game and a higher boost towards the end. All non-main bosses have received an overall 10% boost to the damage output, with adjustment made on a case-by-case basis to ensure they provide the appropriate level of challenge. The Unbroken Promise has received a significant health increase of 18% and a 15% boost in damage output following the behavioral enhancement introduced 2 weeks ago. We noticed that some players were engaging with it, and we felt it needed additional health and damage to match its improved, more aggressive behavior. The Light Reaper now has slightly more health with 10% increase to make the final part of the combat more engaging. We observed that players were having fun, but the encounter was just a tad bit too short. Following the behavior enhancement of the Sunless Monarch, we found that we were very close to achieving the desired level of difficulty. However, we decided to add a little more health, 8%, and increase the damage of its attack 10% to truly provide the challenge we intend after last week's overall behavioral improvement. I wish I could comment on this. I haven't been playing that much Lords of the Fallen since the Remnant 2 DLC has been dropping. I've been playing through that and trying to produce content, so I'll get back to it and then give you my thoughts on hopefully a future patch notes of what I think of the Sunless Monarch with all the changes they've done to him. Now the Sacred Resonance will now typically use the stairs to descend and will only drop through the hole if there's an opportunity to strike the player. For AI, we have added and adjusted leashing volume and revelation depths, improved the leashing volume in the cistern. For Umbral, it says the player was able to soul play the platform they were standing on under certain conditions. This has now been fixed. Now for balancing for PvE, fix an issue with the Light Reaper's sword special attack. Now it's reactivated and can be used as intended. Players still have to complete the quest line in order to unlock them. We are more lenient now when sprinting, so after a roll, you do not need to press sprint again. Your sprint keeps going if enough stamina is left, of course. Fix an issue where Pieta's Simulacrum spell could shoot through the floors and walls. Fix an issue with Vigor multiplier runes that could result in unexpected damage output. Pumpkin Skin Helmet is now droppable, sellable. We were not sure why anyone would want to do this. Objectively, makes no sense sense, but now you can decide to do it anyways. Buff the exploding bolt, decreasing its ammo cost from 10 to 4 and its damage multiplier boost from 1.9 to 3.8. Buff the shattering bolt by decreasing its ammo cost from 10 to 4 and its holy damage multiplier from 1.9 to 3.8 as well. Dark Abyss banner has received probably the biggest buff of all. Ammo cost reduced from 15 to 4, physical damage multiplier increased from 0.5 to 1, physical burst damage from 2 to 4, and its fire multiplier from 1.5 to 3. We discovered a bug in which the hollow would make all holy damage source delivering unintended additional stagger damage. For example, from 10 intended stagger damage, it would be delivering 11 or even 13 in some cases. This has been corrected. As now the bug is corrected, we've increased the hollow stagger by 10%. Now, balancing for PvP here. First step of our PvP and PvE split is here, yet not finished. This one is a proper PvP scaler for spells and arrows and bolts for PvP. Zero impact on PvE, just a pure PvP specific scaler for those. Now using spells, ammos, or throwables in PvP shouldn't be OP. Multiplayer. We've seen quite a few questions on how password work for multiplayer, so we decide to add a visual HUD indicator when a password is on. For co-op, will always remain there until you manually delete the password. For PvP, now it fades away after 2 minutes, so you can understand that you'll be matchmake for PvP with anybody from that point on, and not just with people with passwords. Added additional information when disconnecting from multiplayer sessions. Then here we have a bunch of different collision fixes that you can read, as well as more lighting fixes, visual ones as well. And then we have UI, fix an issue where the locked on could overlap with tutorial message in very rare occasions, add catalyst spell power stats to the inventory tab, and further improvements to UI when completing a crimson ritual. And then audio fix as well. Added sound effects for the Conflagrant Seer Crystal Straight spell. Improve the sound effects for player stabs. And there we go. That is it for the patch notes video, guys. If you made it to the end of this video, feel free to let me know, what did you think of the patch? How has performance been for you? Are you still playing the game? Have you moved on? What games are you currently playing? I would love to know in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.